Hello and welcome to the DFS_PhD show for today, the 5th of January. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win $2. No, it was not a great day yesterday. It was a two-gamer. I told you I wasn't going to play very much. I should have played even less. It was not great. And I did have the call of Barlow, saw he was still playing, and then he gets a concussion, so that was dope. I still like this idea, but I've realized I did it too early in the day. So early in the day, we were looking at the popular plays on Prize Picks because they've added that tab obviously for a reason because it's profitable for them, right? And so that means if you reverse those plays, that should long term be as positive for you as the idea of putting them there was for Prize Picks in the first place. So day one, sorry if you tailed, it was 1 for 7 with a push. However, I did put the one that worked and a push with two other correct picks and cashed one slip for 1.5x. But I realized if you wait till later in the day, then the lines move even more. And these are bad popular picks by the end of the day. And that's the one that did hit was one of their late ads was Chris Paul on over assists. Under assists was obviously very easy. He is not playing very much and is not the focal point of that offense even when he is playing. I looked up, we were still on a couple days ago because a 10-game main slate was pretty similar to tonight when we have an 11-gamer. They're cutting off the last three into a night slate, which I really appreciate because 14 games is just too many. 11 is a very nice number. There's going to be plenty of options. You already have 300 and frickin' 30 guys. Like, what more could you want? Plenty of options for me today. So first of all, the learning part, we're going to allow up to $200 of wiggle room, even though it seems like a lot of these top guys are not using that. Let's look at the 888 because we have the 888s as well. Did anybody leave $200 in the 888s? And we scroll down far enough, we'll see our guy. So let's see how much he left on the table. 200, 100. And then how can I get to, what was his name? Smells. Uh, Hybes is good. McLovin, 50. Everybody's using 50. Hurlis, 50. 49.7 from JT Hayes Jr. Okay. Raging Phillip, Inverted Cheese. I'm just scrolling because I know our bud's up like pretty close to here. So it'd be fun to scroll to him naturally. Maswa, Whistles, Hurlis, Sully Bro Chill, R Walker, R Walker, Scout, BP, Hybes. I thought he was around here. Smells, there you are. Nice. Actual ROI 237%, 49.9. So left 100 on the table. And this is what I'm telling you guys. You got to have something in there. The Struce piece probably being what made this negative ROI in the first place. But that's not bad. Negative sim ROI is just part of life, like uh it means you're taking an appropriate amount of risks if you're slightly in the negative sim ROI. Sims don't know nothing. They got the wrong ownerships. You can see actually True DFS has some really good stuff on that. What's his name? Sheets has been collecting the misses on ownerships, and the misses are all basically the most owned guys are going over owned. Nice. Okay, well, I'm not going to get to that much Kyle Kuzma. I think there's about a 35% chance that game stays close, in which case that's the only thing that matters today. I'm doing a lot of grandiose talk today. You probably shouldn't. I mean, don't follow me on any of these grandiose larks that don't seem right. However, it seems to me like we've got a couple games where people are going to score all the points and a couple games where they're not, and you should just cross them off. So I've crossed off a number of stacks today. I don't want anybody, Houston, Orlando, Charlotte, Minnesota, Knicks, Miami, Utah, Portland, just not enough points in the game. Guy could score all of them. I wouldn't care. There's so many games that they're just like all that matters are those games. For instance, Atlanta and Indiana. I saw DK already made the joke about this 164-point line, but don't take the under. I mean, like, unless you got special information, I don't know, man. I'm leaning the over on this game. Who's going to stop who? These are the 1 and 2 teams in pace. Sorry, 1 and 5 teams in pace, 1 and 2 teams in net defensive rating. The net, like, pace neutral expectation of this game is 142. So, yeah, that's a little high. You can take the under. But I'm not taking the under, and I like the way that it is. It says take people from this game. Now, Boston is 14-point favorites against Utah, so be careful. You might get some Boston guys. but that's a definite blowout, and I don't want anybody from either side of that game, so I'm crossing it off because I just don't know who's going to play at the end of it, and I don't think it's going to be the main guys. If you wanted to take shots on some guys from the bench for Boston, that's fine. Add them back in later. I don't like blowouts. I don't like blowouts. I don't like counting on them. And hey, we got a big enough slate. It's not like yesterday where you had to guess which game was the blowout. And if you guess wrong, you lose all your money. Today, you could just guess, hey, I think maybe they're going to score a bunch of points in these games. Oh, yeah. The other call I'm making today is that I don't think the exact same thing is going to happen from 2 days ago in Washington, Cleveland. Yes, I saw Cleveland beat them historically badly. No, I don't think that's guaranteed to happen again today. And if it doesn't happen, everybody is going to be assuming it is going to happen, first of all. So that's just how DFS has been this year. I don't think I want 95% Washington stacks. Nonetheless, about 35% confident in this call. So let's go ahead and now I'm going to have to rebuild probably because I've given it some weird constraints today. Other settings that I have added here, just so you know, the Myles Jackson foul trouble fork with Isaiah Jackson, Myles Turner. Let me go ahead and make sure I didn't actually fix that fork. Myles should be higher projected. Yeah, I would project him for probably upside 42, where he smashes in 38 minutes or something with no foul trouble. They haven't been giving him a ton of minutes this year. I am aware of that, so I'll say 30% chance it's a Myles Turner smash game because he still has those. But then Jackson is. Did I boost him? No. You could get, if it's a Myles Turner foul trouble game, it could be an Isaiah Jackson game, and then you got to have him. I think 30% chance of that as well. Yep. So either way, I think you gotta, whatever your confidence is that wow, this is building incredibly slowly. So I maybe I've given it incredibly too many constraints here or something. But I like Bay, Hunter, and Bogdan again, which is now a Jalen Johnson rule, if I remember correctly. So Jalen Johnson, Hunter, or Bay, 2 out of 3 of those, 2 out of 3 of the Minnesota main guys. Let's go over here and look at those particular. You know what I did? One of these rules is messed up. When you're getting too few options like this, it means no more than one, no more than two. One of them is at least. One of my rules is messed up. Claxton and Dayron, no more than one. Because if you set an at least rule, then you're you really limit the number of possibilities. So if you ever run into the situation where you're like, wow, that's really not enough lineups at all. Number one, you could have just maybe I have cut out too many people from the actual pool. It's possible I was getting really frisky with the clicking X, seeing what will happen. And then I forgot you don't do that before you build. You have to SaberSim has to have like think it has options or else it just gets really messed up. And because the other thing I did was over here on team stacks, I unclicked like half the team stacks, and I know it doesn't like it when I do that. I'm gonna give it this kind of constraint on Washington, like here, it doesn't like it when I do that. For many reasons, I am no longer getting SaberSim to work and may have to change, like download my projections, go to a different one or something. But yeah, don't really. Also, it's like the later the news, the more valuable. So make sure to join us in the Discord or have somebody else who you've already have a Discord doing that. Make sure that you have access to late news because that's what it's all about. For real, 100%. I say it in a lot of these videos, but I want to make sure if it's your first time watching, number one, thank you for joining us. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But number two, the stuff we're saying in the morning is not the stuff to do. It's the stuff that happens all day long that controls what you actually do. Stuff we're saying in the morning, obviously I'm not going to have 90% Isaiah Jackson. I don't know what malfunction is happening to make. I mean, I'm sure what's happening is we're now forcing like one of, yeah, it's got to be the Isaiah Jackson rule that's messed up. But it didn't seem like it was messed up. I looked at no more than one. It's clearly not a mistake. I don't know what's going on. Maybe, oh, you know what I'll do? Maybe I'll re-click some of these team stacks or set that back to 100 and then whatever, see if that fixes it. I don't know. I really wanted it to build more lineups than like 50 lineups. Normally I have it my normal first 5,000 at least to look at. So if it doesn't do that, I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on here. It messes up my process when my process doesn't work. That's the whole point of these things is to just show like ornament and improve my process. If my process is resulting in like 60 lineups, that's not really enough. I mean, I guess it is. I like to build 5,000, but I guess I don't really have a problem if if I thought there wasn't an issue, obviously there's something underlying it where it's like sputtering out a dozen of lineups at a time now. If I thought it was legitimately telling me these are the only ones that meet all your conditions, then I would do it. Like I don't have a problem with, having it pared down to a really nice, you know, uh number of lineups. I don't believe it at all. So it's too bad. Let me see I'll just say these highest value guys in the case where I'm not gonna be able to say who are my highest exposed in these lineups. Yeah, Myles Turner and Jackson, I already told you about that fork, but because of the Washington Cleveland thing, you got to have interest in Donovan Mitchell. He went off the other day. It's the same team. I don't know about you. I think he's still going to take infinity shots. Something's still going extremely wrong with like, oh, oh. Yeah, I don't want to have 100% Landry Shamet, which I would think would be obvious. Like, why do I have 100% Landry Shamet? What could possibly provoke this thing into saying 100% Landry Shamet? I guess the same thing that would have it do 65% Mike Muscala. I'm getting to a lot of these guys because I've said Washington's going to score a lot of points, and it is said, oh, so Mike Muscala is going to score a lot of points, which I mean, I guess I don't think that's what that means. I think it means Caris LeVert scores a lot of points. Sure, 80% Caris LeVert is also a bit aggressive. But these guys at the top are now fine, like Caris LeVert, Donovan Mitchell, Denny. Denny is definitely in play today. Denny is someone who people are sleeping on. Denny is someone who they're giving far too few minutes to. Yeah, I pulled up a couple popcorn machines. Let me just say what those were before I forget. Isaiah Jackson and Myles Turner is a proper split. 100% of the 48 minutes were split between them. That's what I was checking out because that was my fork. And then the other one, I looked at the minutes in this blowout because I knew it was a blowout and I wanted to see first half what was going on. And you probably only saw, I mean, Sam Merrill was going to get 22 minutes, not be that good of a play. But yeah, let's see. What was I making the point about? I was making the point about off the bench. Huh. I don't remember who it was. I do remember Tristan Thompson getting there alongside Jarrett Allen made a lot of people mad, so you can't actually make a fork there. I thought I was looking for somebody in this game. Don't see him there. This is what happens when I do this video before my coffee. You can probably feel I'm a little bit less sharp with these takes. There's a reason. I haven't had any coffee yet today. Instead, I've been up since 2.5 hours, being nice to a child. So yeah, I think probably around Tyus Jones is where I wouldn't trust these anymore. I do have a Dayron Claxton fork as well, that they appropriately chopped that game. Let me make sure that's not a minimum. No more than one. If it said at least one, that's where I would know what my problem was. No more than one. I'm sure one of these rules is the problem. No more than one. Bay Hunter Bogdan. Oh yeah, I didn't check those guys. Jalen Johnson, I would think would be much more higher on the list unless they priced him up infinity dollars. Jalen's incredible. Um, I am getting to some of him. I don't think 20% is enough. 35 minutes was that appropriate? Uh, um, 35 minutes. Let's look at Atlanta. The popcorn machine for Atlanta. Game flow. Jalen Johnson. Wow. 29 minutes? I thought I remembered him playing more than that. He didn't. What happened in the third quarter? Jeez, did he get his fourth foul or something? He did get a foul after getting one foul, after getting two fouls. So he got in foul trouble. You could probably project him for 38 minutes without foul trouble. He was playing an incredible amount. They've got him for 35. I'm just going to pump him up a little bit because I like my Jalen Johnson and I want to make sure I'm up there at like 50%. He's going to be one of the highest scoring guys in one of the highest scoring games. So I saw that yeah, actually that was a fun tweet. I don't know if I'd be able to pull it up offhand, but I saw Hybes showed his method because somebody pointed out he was one of the only guys who had won multiple slates. I assumed the top dollar because otherwise Sean Geesey would have been in there. If I go to likes, is it going to be too crazy? I know that's where I was recently. No, I didn't like it from this account, I guess. Okay. But it was Hype, so I could look him up like that. I just wanted to point out there's more than one way to skin a fish, and you can start. Oh, but not yeah, hive swing too. And you can do this like for real. I used to do this with baseball when I was better at baseball DFS. If you have a good like pen and paper way to do this, that's a great way to incorporate your like your gut, right? So here's Hives, who's like one of the six people who has taken the top prize more than once, showing his process, man. And I value this quite a bit. I mean, like this was I know exactly which slate this is, right? We all were like, trying to figure out exactly how much Drummond, exactly how much Embiid. And so to see this is pretty invaluable. I'm gonna spend a fair amount of time, honestly, trying to go through what's going on in Hives' process here. I think that this is an incredible resource. And yeah, that if you can figure out what's going on in these pages that he has shown us, it's not a joke. I don't think this is a joke. I think this is, yeah. I mean, I'd say no model is, given the amount of signage I'm seeing here, I don't think there's any amount of no model going into this. I think he's got quite a model. See a lot of numbers here for no model hives, but I know what you mean. There's no like optimizer. He's not starting with SaberSim and then he's not doing some background change to the game totals or whatever. But I think it's a slate where you can do that because there's basically one, two games. You want Atlanta and Indiana guys, and you want Washington and Cleveland guys. And then you don't want Chicago guys. You don't want Charlotte guys. You don't want Minnesota guys. You don't want Houston guys. It's going to be gross. You don't want guys who are in a blowout. So I'm crossing off Dallas. I'm crossing off Boston. And as a result, I'm only getting 364 lineups. So some amount of not doing that is going to be necessary. I don't know exactly. I probably have to unclick like, you know what I'm going to do? The team stacks thing has always been messing it up. And who cares anyway if I have like, I've already lowered artificially these games. So I think it's the team stacking thing that's most messing it up. So let me test that. Now, do you build 1,000 lineups or do you build 100 lineups? Hey, hundreds at a time. Yeah, we're back. So it has a problem with giving fine stack control pre-build. So if you find yourself and you haven't mislaid a rule, getting in a situation where it's not building all 5,000 lineups or whatever, it's probably the situation what I was just describing. Like you are just confusing it. It's a Lagrangian optimizer. So a Lagrangian optimizer has to set a certain number of constraints. And as you click, 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 click infinity buttons, you give it so many more parameters to optimize to the point where eventually it becomes over-constrained, even if those parameters didn't matter to you. So that's why, for whatever reason, the way that it incorporates team stack parameters breaks it. So be careful with team stack parameters. I found that out in baseball where it's a lot more, it's something you want to control. Did not ever figure out a good way to control that. All right, SaberSim. You've been let to run. You've run 5,000 lineups. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Drum roll, please. These look like better lineups. Although I'm seeing 100% Nikola Jovic. 100% Jovic. I gotta be honest, I don't think I'm gonna get to 100% Jovic. I'm gonna be at like a smattering, assuming he starts a little bit of Jovic, but I don't want almost any Jovic. I'll match the field on Kevin Love. He seems like a fine play. Tyrese Halliburton, sure, if we can get there with the salary restrictions, since we're not going to jam Jovic. Yeah. All right. Caris LeVert core, Landry Shamet, like, no. Back down with you, please. Tyus Jones core. See that popping up? And I say, yeah, that's closer to right. I think 5x the field on Tyus Jones is probably about where I want to be. If we're laying out cores, it's probably Cleveland guys, right? Why? How am I not getting whatever? I guess because Tyrese Halliburton is a really good pivot off of Donovan Mitchell. That's why we're not getting to maximum Donovan Mitchell amounts. Yeah, I agree with that. I like that. I don't like this much. Rocco, are you kidding me? Get out of town. Get out of town with that Rocco. Get out of town with that Dorian Finney-Smith. Low usage guys playing low minutes should not be involved today. You can maybe have them as a sprinkle. Maybe. All right. But these guys up at the top 100% now are great. Jalen Johnson, Caris LeVert, Donovan Mitchell. If you got to have a core, there's a core. Uh, yeah, I believe in those guys. The rest of the slate could change around. I don't foresee my loving those guys on the slate changing around because doesn't matter if you're in the first or second unit of Cleveland today, you're jacking it against Washington again. So both Donovan and Caris could get there. Probably one or the other, but I got 20% that have overlap. That's fine. Jalen Johnson going to smash the lights out in that game. Would I like to have more people from that game? Yeah, I mean, we got some IJacks, we got some. That's why we're getting so much Halliburton. He's the other highest scoring piece in that kind of game. No way. Jovic, are you kidding me? Like, what a ridiculous suggestion. What a ridiculous suggestion from Saberson to play so much Jovic. That's why, I thought I had that game. Oh, okay. That if he starts, that's still fine. I just thought, does that project Jimmy out? Oh, well, Jimmy's out, then a lot of these numbers are wrong. I did not think we had that news. I saw we're projecting Vooch back. I didn't think we had that news either. I was looking that up right as we're going to. So yeah, if Vooch is not out, obviously, if Vooch is back, we will be playing. I can't just search for Vooch. You have to go to like Underdog NBA and then search for Vooch. Ooh, questionable. For 1-5, is that yesterday? No, that's today. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen the news on Vucevic. Vooch. Oh, so he is listed questionable. We had him missing at least 10 days on the 27th. If you add 10, that's 37 minus 31 is 6. So he could come back around today. Listed questionable for Friday though. So he is questionable. I don't know, man. It's been a while. Even if he comes back, he could still be in an even split. But my general point is Drummond would be a lot more visible in these projections if you yeah. Okay, these are a dope top 4. Definitely Caris LeVert, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Johnson, and even Halliburton. I think we're definitely going to have very overweight the field on those guys. Did Duop play enough? I fell asleep in that game. How was Duop playing off the bench? I also got to get going. I do really have to make some coffee here in a second. But I wanted to make sure that Duop Reith actually got his minutes off the bench. He didn't. He played 6 minutes. What are we doing here? It was a blowout? It was a blowout. So let's extrapolate. He gets those 6 minutes again in the second half. Are we that excited about 12 minutes from Duop Reith? No. I am not. I do not project him for more than 12 minutes. I don't think that Saberson will eventually either, unless somebody else is out. I mean, who else could it be? Badji. I mean, I guess if Badji didn't finish the game, then maybe he got hurt because this wasn't close. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Badji. Okay. So keep an eye out there. Obviously, you don't want to play Duop Reith at all. I mean, he didn't 12 minutes is not going to get it done. He wasn't in the rotation essentially. Jabari though was, right? Jabari Walker is projected for 0. What's going on with these guys? Doubtful. Jabari got hurt. That's right. That's right. Okay, okay, okay. So I don't love that. I do remember that now because it ruined a number of things for me. So after Jabari got hurt, what happened? Immediately they put in Badji again. And then when Badji went out, they put in Thibault? No, Ish Wainwright. So Ish Wainwright appears to be the person poised to pick up these minutes. I really doubt that. I've said that now. I think we can, number one, go back to Reith with some confidence. Totally fine to project him in. But also, you might want to fork him with Ish Wainwright. Yeah. The actual guy here who got the oh yeah, that's juicy. I like that. I'm gonna pop that in there. Get him up there into the mix. Because he could for real see a lot of minutes, especially because this game could blow out. And in the blowout, he played all of it. He played the entire blowout. So, I mean, honestly, he played every single minute after. Is that right? He played every single minute after Badji went out. Yeah, but that was expected because of the blowout. So, but Badji and Jabari, after Jabari went out, it was a straight split, Ish Wainwright and Badji for center. So it's actually not Ish and Duop. It's Ish and Badji. Did so wait, Duop didn't come in at all in the second half. Yeah, he didn't come in at all in the second half. That's worrisome for your Duop minutes. The fact that after the injury he didn't come in. If he starts, you can play Duop, but if he doesn't start, you can be I don't know, man. I think it's a Badji and Wainwright split. And Wainwright could get like a lot of minutes because Badji can't play that many minutes. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Badji Wainwright fork, which is just absurd. The things you have to say at this time of year. Because number one, Badji could get there a little bit more. It's not great, but yeah, he could get a few more minutes. I'm fine with giving maybe 15% Badji or whatever. Gosh, that really saying those words is just it's tough to say I'm fine with that. He's not a good player. I am familiar with his game. I don't really love having him on the team. Okay, so hold on. Badji and Wainwright. Okay. No more than one. Badji and Wainwright. So these are the kinds of things you got to pay attention to and be like, why are they running that rotation? That's the weirdest rotation I've ever seen. But that's the rotation right now in Phoenix, or Portland, wherever that was. Until we hear otherwise, until somebody comes back from injury, please, somebody come back from injury. This team is a mess. I don't like having to deal with this, but I think you do have to deal with this. These guys are legitimate value choices for this slate. All right. So remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough. And gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us after I've had a little bit of coffee.